Hello, this is Jared playing Oxygen Not Included. We're on cycle 165. What is new today? We put in a chlorine, carbon dioxide, and natural gas, infinite storage, and filter process. So we've got a pump down here. That's just pumping anything that's, when the senses not oxygen, it's going to push these gases there. And any of these gases can be set for use. Don't have any need for chlorine. I'm going to have a need for carbon dioxide soon, but the first usage is natural gas. That's on the way to this new gas range, and we're even cooking the first pieces of pepper bread on our base. One other thing I have here is I switched the oxygen system. This used to be provided from this old system that was here. Now this is pretty much a thing of the past. We're getting all our oxygen from the bottom of this base, much larger electrolyzer system that's fully encased with 6 pumps. I'm going to film this a little bit different. Instead of every 5 cycles, give it a little bit more vent update. Less detail than the radioactive asteroid playthrough, but a little bit more. So what do I have going on here? A new rocket. First thing I'm going to do is go in here and get rid of this. And I've got this set up here where I'm going to create some liquid steel. Just connecting into my saltwater line that's going around the base. I'm going to steal some of that liquid, bring it up here, and we're going to be depositing in 2 locations. First off, filling this liquid reservoir, and then filling this body of water over here. It's currently loading in some salt water over here. It's probably going to be enough. So the rest will be vented out right here. Temporarily cut that. So this whole setup, well, first of all, my plan, I'm playing Rime, and I'm also playing the radioactive asteroid. And no doubt, this asteroid is much easier than the other one. Because it's large, has all the resources, and it's quite cold. And generally speaking, if you know how to insulate, it's much easier to add heat than destroy heat. So with that being said, this base is really healthy right now. So I think I'm going to do a little bit of experimenting with the idea of setting certain systems up here on Rime first, perfecting them. And then when I go to the radioactive asteroid, when the moonlit cluster where resources are scarce and I may only have one time to get things right, I'll already have this behind my back to actually try various things. So that's my plan. Anyway, what is this particular setup in particular that I'm experimenting with? This is something I have done before, but I just want to get all the kinks out so that when I go to the radioactive asteroid, everything goes to plan. So I'm going to be putting an aqua tuner here. And that aqua tuner is going to be sending liquid around here in this line, the salt water, and cooling it off. And oddly enough, I get a liquid temperature that's going to warm this up. So it's going to essentially have no effect. Probably on no other asteroid other than Rime I would ever do this. Have the actual liquid temperature heat things up. But I've got nothing I want to cool on this asteroid. I mean, look at it. It's frozen everywhere. Now, the reason I want to heat this up is because I want to make molten steel. And I can make molten steel right at this location. I want to pump it into here. So when I get a pump, oh, it's not liquid pump, make this out of steel, put that right here. We're going to be pushing liquid into this guy. That's the plan. And then once I do that, well, how about we get that far and I'll explain the rest. We are digging down into this area because I'm after clay. Because this setup is going to require a little bit of ceramic. I want to make sure that every pipe I have is ceramic where molten steel is going into, because I don't want to heat up the actual pipe itself, or cool off the molten steel and make it solidify. Oh yeah, of course we have some protection while we're doing this important research. We've got steel bunker, we got a bunker door and bunker tiles to prevent meteorites from getting in our way. So here is the aqua tuner running. My goal is to melt this aqua tuner itself. I'm going to click on disable auto repair. And the idea is if we can keep this line running, this is going to prevent the liquid from getting too cold. It's going to go in and out of this guy. Whole purpose is just to keep this guy running until it gets too hot. Now it's damaged to overheating, but it takes a certain amount of time to actually stop working. It doesn't become damaged and stop right away. As long as this thing melts before it's completely broken, we get some molten steel right here, which is a very useful project, or liquid, if I want to melt this wall right here and open up development outside this rocket all around us. I want to essentially make a super rocket in effect. So I've got ceramic pipe going in and out. This is going to be molten lava going in, molten steel going in. Visiting this one tile, which is the obsidian tile right there. This is where temperature exchange happens. Heat is added until this block itself, these two blocks, melt. So that is what I'm doing, and we're just at the beginning stages, waiting for this guy here to melt. Getting very close to the melting point. Where this is going to turn into molten steel. There it is. Boom, molten steel. I'm going to pause it right here. Make a steel pump. Do that at high priority. And have that pump molten steel into this guy right here. Just built this pump. Pump is currently overheating, but running enough so I can get the molten steel into this guy right here. Very important that this all is built on airflow tiles so it doesn't interact with heat. So now we've got molten steel loading into our metal refinery. This is opportunity to heat things up. We can make iron, we can make gold, we can even make steel. All of which is going to heat up this molten steel even more. So we need to add even more hot heat. Even though it's extremely hot, it is not hot enough yet to melt the rocket. Now I don't want to send molten steel inside this rocket if it's not like, let's say 3,000 degrees or more. Because as it interacts with this, if it's not above that, or it'll potentially turn to solid and actually break in that pipe. And that is not what we want. So to avoid that, I've got this little check to say, okay, is your temperature above 3,000? If so, go into the rocket. It's not at the moment. And if it's not above 3,000, just keep going round and round, going into this guy here until we reach the desired temperature. So dupes, just keep cranking out metal after metal after metal. And hopefully it'll become hot enough we can send it through here. While we're waiting for molten steel to get very warm, melt that rocket wall, I'm building a transit tube right here because I want to plant some wild sleet wheat. Figured let's not keep the dupes idle. Keep them busy doing productive things. So with this, it's going to get them quick access to this spot over here. Once this thing is powered up, a transformer to support that. And then we'll use our many pips that we have available to start planting some sleet wheat. Watching the first pieces of molten steel go inside the rocket shows 2,500. I think 3,000's not necessary. So here, we'll test this out. It's going through here. As long as this doesn't break and these liquid go to waste, we're good. So we can see the temperature dropped down pretty big. Pretty significant drop. So yeah, 2500 is fine. Going from that to 1500, 1,000 degrees temperature drop. What is that doing to the rocket itself so far? Oh yeah, it's already looking red. 200 or so degrees. It needs to be well above that to actually melt. But that's a start. Dupes have been doing a good job here, cutting out several layers. This is where I'm going to put wild sleet wheat. Row after row until I get about 200 or so pieces of that out. First iron ore tiles being created. It's going to be used by the pips because I can't plant stuff in viscillite tiles, so that's why I'm putting iron tiles here. A little bit of a spill here of magma in the process, but what I did is I put some tungsten radiant pipes here and here. That's hopefully going to increase the temperature increase of the rocket, eventually causing this to melt. Bringing over sleet wheat and pips in this area. And using this crown molding to indicate that I want to start from here and go left on out with the sleet wheat. So this is the first sleet wheat section complete. Wrangle these pips and we'll bring them over to here to repeat the process with the sleet wheat as well. I might have an issue finding you. Get a ladder for some dupes. Built this little room over here versus for the shovels because they're causing a ruckus in my base, even the top area. So that what they do is they pick up dirt and they can deposit in places, sometimes trapping dupes, but they do provide lots of meat. So I got this process here to automatically take their meats out once they expire. Where did you go? You didn't leave the room, did you? Oh, you... I thought they couldn't go through ceramic. Okay, I'll have to make a new version of this. It is cycle 190. We've got lots of tiles available for the pips to plant things, and they've started that process now. Keep clearing these out, making them way for them to add more and more. Inside the rocket over here, we've gotten to 1500 degrees, so we still need to go up 1,000 or so over there. But the system itself to actually do the heating is working well. Lots of metal that we can produce. And that's just adding extra heat. That's going to go in the rocket and eventually melt that wall. Well, thank you for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed, and I will see you in a future episode where we'll continue on, build this rocket, which will have this wall removed, and we can build all kinds of things out here, as well as a sleet wheat and many other things on this space. Until then.